Hey guys, welcome back to another new video. And before I begin, I just wanted to say thank you for all the support that you're showing towards this channel, and it really means a lot to me. So thank you so much for that. And now let's get into today's video. When you are a beginner, you need a really good sketchbook to practice your skills, and this one is by the brand Brustro, and the paper is around 160 GSM and it is pretty thick, and also it is made for color pencil drawings. And for today's video, I'm going to be using this one, and as you can see, it lays pretty flat once it's open, so that is a pretty good advantage. As for the color pencils, I'm using this Derwent Academy 12 color pencil set, which is a pretty good set, pretty decent set, and I'll leave a link to the review in the description box down below, so feel free to check that. And also it doesn't have any white, so I'm using this black and white set, which is also by Derwent, and all the colors are tinted. As for the sharpness, I use the long point ones by Apsara, and once the blade gets dull, I'll just change it. And to dump the pencil shavings, I always have a box next to me. You might also need a stick eraser, and this one is by Tombow. And once you've finished your drawings, if suppose you want any highlight, any subtle highlights, then you can use this to bring that subtle highlight. And also for some bright highlights, I'm using this white gel pen, and this is a really helpful tool. So if you don't have it, just go buy it. It's really helpful in every color pencil drawing. And this one is Sakura Jelly Roll pens, and it comes in 3 sizes, 10, 8 and 5. Another must-have is a kneadable eraser, and this one is by Faber-Castell, and it just helps lighten the sketch, and once you get bored, you can play with it. All the materials that I used are linked in the description box down below, so feel free to check that out. The most important technique of all is to use a very sharp pencil at all times, and it is going to fill out the grains of the paper better than a blunt pencil. And now I'm going to show you how to create a very smooth gradient. To get a really smooth gradient, you need to control the pressure that you put into the pencil. And the only way of doing that is by holding the pencil way back towards the end instead of holding it way in front of the nib. By holding the pencil this way, it actually eliminates any pressure, and you cannot put that much pressure onto the pencil. If I hold the pencil very close like this, then I can get a lot more control, and also I will be able to put a lot of pressure onto the pencil. So if you want a gradient, you shouldn't hold your pencil like that, you should hold it way back. Just like I'm holding the pencil right here. To achieve a smooth gradient, you have to keep the topmost parts darker, and as you move downwards, the lowermost part should be lighter. So in order to do that, you have to put a little bit pressure into your pencil when you are starting at the top, and as you move downwards, you have to lift off all the pressure and the pencil should just glide along the paper. Once you've built up enough layers, you can go in the opposite direction and smooth out all the layers. This is the final result. As you can see, the topmost part is darker, and as it moves downwards, the color has become less intense and less saturated. So if you are a beginner, try doing this as your practice. Once you are happy with your gradient technique, you can move on to the next one, and that is the blending technique, and this is basically just an extension of the gradient technique. And in here you're using 2 colors, and as you can see, I'm creating a gradient of blue color from the top, and from the bottom I'm creating a gradient of purple color, and I am always overlapping the colors so that I'll get a very smooth transition between the colors. And as you can see, I'm working in so many layers to blend these 2 colors out, and this is another technique called the layering technique. For the final layers, I'm putting a lot of pressure into the pencil and I'm blocking in all the colors, and this technique is called the burnishing technique. And these are the only techniques that you need as a beginner to improve your color pencil skills. This is how your blending technique should look like. The color blue should slowly transform to the violet color, and this area, the center area, should be the area of transition, and that is where the color blue slowly transforms into the violet color. And as I said, it is so similar to the gradient technique, but the only thing different is we use 2 different colors, and that's it. And now when you practice this, try to create an even smooth blending without any streakiness. Now I have a really simple exercise for you to try, and that is to create a gradient with just one single line. And for you to do that, you have to put a lot of pressure when you're starting, and as you move downwards you have to lift off the pressure so that the colors become lighter and lighter. And this exercise actually helps you to control your pressure. So I hope you give this a try. I did this sketch previously and now I'm going to lighten it with a kneadable eraser. And don't skip this step, because if you don't lighten the sketch, then the graphite is going to mix with your pencil and it's not going to look good. With the help of a color swatch card, I'm going to pick out all the colors that I'm going to need for this particular drawing. And I created this one when I reviewed the Derwent Academy color pencil. So if you haven't already, go watch that video. It is linked in the description box down below. If you have these pencils, then don't drop them, because if you do, this is going to happen to you. I dropped these pencils once and ever since then, the nibs started breaking off, so just be careful with it. Now moving on to today's video, I'm going to start with the highlights first, and I'm going to block in all the areas where I can see the highlights. The reference that I used for this particular drawing is linked in the description box down below, so if you want, you can go check that out. And now I'm going to use a black pencil and I'm going to start drawing the darkest areas that I can see in the reference. And I do this because I want to have a clear definition between the highlights and shadows before I go in with the midtones. Because once I have those two, the highlights and the shadows established, then it is going to be easy for me to see the whole drawing, and also it's going to be easy for me to maintain those highlights and shadows. Once the highlights and the shadows are in place, you can go in and fill out the rest of the balloon with a blue color. And keep in mind, don't leave the black area black as it is. You have to layer blue on top of that, because to be honest, the balloon is actually blue in color. The material is fully blue in color. And you have these highlights and shadows because of the reflections that is going to fall onto the balloon, and also because the light reflected from the balloon. I hope I'm making sense. So the shadows won't look black, it actually looks a dark blue color. So in order to achieve that, you need to layer blue and black together on top of each other to achieve that darker blue color. And also for the highlights, there was kind of a green tint to it. So I'm also adding a little bit of green for the highlights as well. The most important thing that you need to do is to find a really good high quality reference image. And once you have that, you need to understand the reference and understand why this area is lighter and why that area is darker. And once you have that understanding, it is going to be very easy for you to replicate that in your drawing. Now that I am happy with the base layer, I'm going to use the white color and I'm going to burnish all the highlights that I can see in the reference image. And I do this at this stage because I want to maintain those areas as bright as I can, and that is why I'm burnishing it right away with white color, so that I won't be able to add any other color on top of that. Now I have the base skeleton of the drawing ready. I'm going to saturate the colors even more. I'm going to use the same colors and go over the areas just as I did for my base layer. And in this time, I'm going to use a lot of pressure on the pencil. As you can see, I'm holding the pencil way closer to the nib, and this actually gives me more control, and I'm able to put a lot of pressure into the pencil. And from now on, I'm going to make the colors look much more saturated. Wherever I want a smooth blend between colors, I use white and I'm going to burnish the colors with it. And this basically smooths out the color pencil layers to give an even nice and smooth shading. Did you notice that I'm drawing everything in sections? Well, if you did, do let me know in the comment section down below, because I'm so eager to know how many of you noticed that. Moving on, the major advantage of drawing in sections is that you are going to break down the whole drawing into small parts, and this way it's going to be easy for you to focus and concentrate on a smaller area rather than looking at the whole picture, because that can be overwhelming. So if you are a beginner, try breaking down your drawing into small parts. For the shadows, I'm using a blue color along with a 4B graphite pencil, and I do this because the balloon is actually quite reflective and the color will reflect onto any white surface, and that's why I'm using blue. And now with the tissue paper, I'm going to blend out the colors, and this is going to make the shadow look much more smoother. I hope you noticed that once I added the shadows, the drawing is looking much more realistic, isn't it? And that is because any object in reality has shadows. So once you add the shadow to your drawing, it is going to look much more realistic. To have a really nice and neat and clean look, you have to erase all the whited areas because obviously you will smudge some of the colors onto the whited areas, so you have to clean it up. Now as the final step, I'm going to use a white gel pen and I'm going to add all the brightest highlights that I can see in the reference image. And if you add too much bright white highlights, it's not going to look realistic. And if you don't add any white highlights, it's not going to look realistic. So you have to know the balance between too much and too little. And that's it. What do you think about today's video? Is it too long or is it too short? Whatever it is, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll talk to you guys next time. Until then, take care.